This is going to be a very impromptu live. Not going to be on here very longer, but I want to say this is like the final show. I don't think I'm going to do any more shows from. I don't live here. This is my old apartment. My son still lives here. I've been living in my house for about 3 months now. But we're still cleaning this. Technically, my cats are probably going to live here another month. My son's moving out next week. The cats are probably going to have this apartment for 30 days by themselves. I'll come in and feed them and spend time with them. But for the most part, moving this shit. So all this stuff is going down. Nobody's fool. I'm putting him in the frame, so I'm taking him to Michael's. But all this stuff is coming down and going. Got to find a place to put these plants. The way the sun hits, I'm facing east right now. These plants, so the sun comes, so they get these plants face southeast, so they get the sun coming southeast. The new place sits, they're going to be more southwest. I mean, a lot of sun comes because it's going to be in a couple big, sliding windows, but plants don't like to move. Those of you that have plants, they really don't like to move. They like, once they settle in a place, they really like to stay in that place. And they don't respond very well. Hey, Don Player, thank you for joining me. So as a consideration too. And the other house has cats too. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. This is kind of a sweat outfit and stuff. Let me show you. I'm a sneakerhead too. So, but I picked these up. They're called the Jordan Aura Max. We got a full Max unit in the back. The thing, why couldn't they put the 23 here? That they cheaped out. It should be a 23 here. This is not the same patent that came on the original pair that I got in. See, Brennan was born in 97. So the original patent leathers came out, 97, 98? Yeah, so it's not the same. But right now, my foot's broke. Both feet are broke. These help a lot. So just, with the discount, you go to the outlets, it's outlet shoe. But from the outlet, with the discount, if you sign up, you get 15% off. You get, I think it was $97. So they cheaped out on the strings. But comfort-wise, they're comfortable. Hey, Derek, what's happening? Now, the reason I came on today. And the champion sweats to match. Thank you. But the reason why I came on today, I'm going to show y'all how to get rid of some shit. And I talk about these two witches that fuck with me. They don't really fuck with me, but but how to get rid of them. So I'm going to show you a perfect way to get rid of them. Now, many of you may or may not know this lady. This lady's 65, 66 years old. She's not no young chick. She's been in TV since the late 70s, early 80s. But when I first put this up, this is what the energy was telling me. It burned a hole in the picture. You see that? That's from incense. Incense burned this. So it's telling me that this energy is not the greatest. But I'll say that smile, when I feel bad, that smile makes me feel better. So, but chick's still a witch. Who do I have in the World Series? Tell you, Philadelphia looked pretty good the other night. Philadelphia looked pretty good. I'm going to do a show later. Let me think about that. And I'm going to do a show tonight around 11, 12. So let me think about that. So I'll, right now I like Philadelphia, I'll say, right now. But let me think about it. Let me look at who, because I know American League, that team that came through pitching-wise, they're going to be in trouble pitching-wise. So we'll see if they can stand the hitting. So, but yeah. But I'm going to show you a couple things when you're serious about getting rid of some shit around you, what you need to do. Now, any of you fuck with shit like this, gives some good things. And one thing he says is when you do ritual, you need parchment. Now this book still, you can I probably could still even use can probably get this much for the book. Okay. But one thing it talks about is getting parchment. You can get parchment from any place, any stores and stuff. But some of the book, I was working for a publishing company, a librarian. And sometime when the stuff would be packed, it would give us parchment. So I'm going to send my brother some, maybe Crazy Sarge might want some, but this is parchment. Again, this book talks about parchment. So it's a couple things I'm going to do. I can't say these names, but I'll put the name up long enough for you to see. This is the Love and Above Witch. This is my pedestal, my mortar, pedestal, and this is what you do. Look at that. Look at the fighting. Look at the fighting. You see the fighting? Now put it in my pedestal, burn it all the way to nothing. Burn it all. Every shred. There we go. Here's the other name. On parchment. Burn all this shit. Every freaking letter. Every inch. Woo! Now this one, I'm not trying to burn the house down. So I'm going to cut it up a little bit. It's going to be a lot easier. And a lot less chance I burn the house down. Because I don't like the way this shit smells either. So, chicks, thank you for your help, but I don't really need it. See that? That's how you get rid of witches. Especially if the witches are famous. Look at that. Ah, thank you. Yeah. Beat that down. Beat that down. No, I'm probably going to stink. Burn this shit up. And all I ask is to be left alone. It's my thing. So all these ties are broken. Leave me the fuck alone. Take the pedestal. Grind this shit up. You grind it up fine as you can grind it up. All right, and that's how Hey, Sherilita, how are you? Just got back from a Halloween gig for nephew and nieces. uh, well, my girl wants me to dress up as the big bad wolf. I do have a cape. I'm gonna be a big web. Whatever I'm gonna be someone with a cape. It looks like the Halloween party is shifted to not this weekend when it should be, maybe next weekend. I'm going to feel less inclined to do next weekend, but we'll see. We'll see. One thing keep in mind though, with this Halloween and this whole month is everywhere. This is the month of where the portholes and the veil between the ones that have passed and gone and the ones that seek them. These are those times. Um, I don't know if you guys know it, like I follow a lot of witches and mess with them a little bit, so they're very busy this time of year. The people that follow the planets, again, they're telling you all these energies are open. So whichever way you face, whichever way, um, just understand that this is around right now. So those of you that have altars for your relatives and stuff, this is the time to put all that together. Well, so hey Lorenzo, what's happening? Oh, I'm doing well today. Just got back from the doctors. They give me all kind of braces and shit. Hey, thank you, Killer Cam. That is really cool. That's really cool. Hey, Crazy Sarge. Yeah, I was just mentioning you, Crazy Sarge. I've got this parchment. I'll send you a couple pieces. This is book level, book grade parchment. And I'll send you some. I'll send my brother some. So, you know what this stuff is for. This is good stuff, though. And I don't know if you saw it all, Crazy Sarge, but, getting rid of these witches. Don't need their help. And it's not that the help is good or bad. It's just it's not needed. So this little bit is what tied them. Hey, this is my brother, Quan Redface. That is my real brother. That is my blood brother. Getting ready for knee surgery. Ooh, getting ready. Yeah, I just left the hand therapist. They gave me some braces they want me to start wearing. I don't know why they didn't just give them to me. I already know my insurance is going to pay for them. So, but call insurance, get them, order that shit. However, energy for knee surgery. Yes, definitely energy for knee surgery. Yes, healing. And, quick healing too. Quick healing. Because I've had both knees scoped. So, yeah, takes a minute. So definitely quick healing to you, for sure. Still seeing smoke. It's interesting how that shit's blowing out. I open the window for a second, but my plants are here and it gets cold in the evenings, y'all. That hawk gets cold in the evenings. When that sun go down, oh my goodness, it is no playing here. Like right now, I don't think I'm gonna play pickleball. Kind of hurt my arm. I don't know. I played 2 hours the other day though. The binding and removal of them witches. Yeah, exactly. You know it. So leave me the fuck alone is what it really boils down to. And I don't think the chicks mean any harm, but I kind of let them in by having the picture. But just leave me the fuck alone. That's all. That's all. Doing simple, goofy shit. Watching my cat to see if she's fucking with my plants. Let me see who's getting out. That nigga back out of jail. Like, that's what get me. You call the cops on a nigga and put him in jail, then the motherfucker be back, right back. Let me see. No, that's the girl. Maybe the dude is still in jail. Oh well. But definitely. Yeah. Do a binding and remove. Yeah. I have 4 witches that snuck in my window last night. But yeah, Crazy Sarge. That's it right there. Binding and removal of them. Yep. And it's interesting. It's like my house already, they did a little bullshit at that new house. And I know it's them. And it's not, not anything harmful, but it's just irritating, It's just irritating, the little bitty things they do. Oh, and I want to say this again. When I saw Black Adam, um, I am telling you guys, uh, there were drones in there. They look like bugs, but it's just no way, no way, no way in there. These bugs. It was only like four, but they look like drones. That's what I think. So be aware of that, because um, a girl went to see the Black Queen or whatever, the Lady Queen, Lady King Queen, whatever, and she said the bugs was in there too. So some technology they're putting out there. So be aware of that if you go to the movies. Guys, it was a point of Black Adam I wanted to bring back. Um, they don't, it got such bad reviews because it's two melanated dudes who star in it. So uh, man, the point that I got that I thought about, I can't remember right now. But overall, it was a positive movie. I liked the movie. Getting through Sandman right now is interesting. Quantum of Science kind of broke that down. My son has all the books. I don't know if you guys know that. The Sandman books. I guess it's a short series. My brother had them all. From the standpoint of quantum of science, he says he only has one. So my son, Brian Jr., has them all. So from his standpoint, he said the series was pretty good. But it's interesting that the series comes from the point of saying the dream god or illusion. That's what it says. It points that the illusion is the one that created everything. Everything is created out of the dream, created out of the illusion. So for those of you, I don't know. I wanted to say for those of you that care about that flat plane stuff, but you can get lost. You can get lost in that stuff. The more you study about flat plane and the more you study about Terraria, it'll open up for you. This is how they do things. The more you study about something, the more they'll pour it on you. Giving you example of the time walking papers. The more, and this is how, see, and this is where things that work for you can work for you. Because the way the way this illusion is put together is once you start digging into something, it likes that. It'll start feeding you this stuff. Now I carry Charite, and Charite is about helping you bring in the right stuff. Now I don't have any right now here on me. It's all at the other house, but that's, I meditate with this stuff. Now Patite is the stone that when you go on the path, it's a stone when you start going on the path, it'll remind you is this our journey? Is this our purpose? And where I live next to a big giant ski hill. So anybody, y'all let me know. We can go tubing. I ain't skiing, but we can tube like a motherfucker. So any of y'all want to tube? I live right near this shit. And what's interesting, living on it's like a great mound. And when I meditate, I'm just like in my front room, and I can feel this mound energy build up. And it's like almost everything disappears and I'm on this just huge mountain. It's really not, hill. I don't know, you'd have to see it. So great energy where I live now. Another point. Savage, I think, is named after the man who trained a horse called Dan Patch. And horse energy started coming to me, and I actually thought it was one of the Hindu gods because I'm very tied into, the Vedas and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was the Hindu god, but I was playing pickleball in Savage, and Savage's city thing is this horse called Dan Patch. And I think that is the energy I got, the horse that came through, because the farm he lived on would almost be three cities. It would be the city of Savage, Prior Lake, and some of Burnsville. I mean, this was a huge farm for this trotter. And if you look up Dan Patch, at the time, he was the fastest trotter in the world. If you know what trotters are, I mean, my brother knows from Michigan. Well, my brother lives in Michigan right now. Jackson has the trotters. My ex-wife's father had a table. If you ever go to where, they run, you can get booths. This nigga had a table. Every time we went to the same spot. If you see what I'm saying. You gamble on the horses and shit. And so this is a worldwide horse. This horse was known worldwide, breaking the mile, I think, and whatever for trotting. So it was a fast horse. The horse is probably looked at three greatest horses probably of all time is Secretariat, Man of War, And I think you can argue that Dan Patch is probably in there for his group. Again, a trotter, not a full-out sprinter. So that's the energy that came in. So that's very positive. Here's this, and what's funny is if you look at the owner of Man of War, my brother saw Man of War in Kentucky. We went there. I don't know if he remembers or not. We saw Secretariat too. But one thing is about Man of War and Dan Patch, which is interesting and show you how connected you can be to animals. When Dan Patch died, his owner died within 2-3 weeks, or it's the opposite. And the same thing of Man of War. One of them died, and then the other one died. Yep. Hey, General Peace, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, just a little coat. This is actually a little coat. This is a little coat, vintage, whatever you call it, vintage wear. So sells at Macy's. Wait till that shit goes on sale and get it. So that's the energy I've been working with. I figured that out. That it's that horse, and he's just positive. He has some positive things, just to add. And it's kind of like sometimes when you move to places, you live in places, there's this energy going around, and then they welcome you. That you recognize energy and that you could tap into it, because everybody can't tap into it. Well, thank you, General Peace. Thank you. And it's funny, I know years, and then there's people that still argue about all these politics, thinking that these are anything separate. I mean, right now, the two-year races are important, because right now what you want to do is you want to vote for your local officials. That's the importance of 2 years, is vote for your local officials. So a lot of people are getting tied into one or the other, and it's not really that. It's one system. It's one world system, if you really look at it. You try to say that we live under different, but if you look at the money, it's one world money system. I mean, every day you can see on the money channels that it's one system. You'll show the dollars compared to this, dollars compared to that. It's one system, one trading system. Like even when our trading is done at 3 o'clock, or my time is 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock, cryptos never stop trading. So, Bitcoin, Ethereum, it goes on all weekend. And then you got other countries around the world. But it's funny, when they agree to shut down, they shut down. They're given times. So it's one world system we live in. They play these military games because they want to see what this stuff can do. They really want to see what these weapons can do. I like to see what Brother Nick Taylor thinks about that. Like, we got this weapon right now. I forget what it's called. I mentioned this the other day. They can bomb a motherfucker and they can't tell where it come from. Normally they can tell where shots come from. They got these trucks they done gave the Ukrainians where they can move that shit, and there's no counter offensive to it. So they want to see how. It's almost like these rich people got all these toys and they want to see how the toys work. Well, thank you, D. Still. Thank you for joining me. So that's how you got to look at war. Some of it is wag the dog fake. Some of it is real. They got to kill people. They got to blow the cities away and kill people, because, again, it's money in building that shit back up. You think about it. Okay, you can destroy all this shit today, but eventually it's going to be fixed. Now, I want to say this. I've said this many times, and I'm going to repeat this. And you can, I'm the one to tell you to look it up, because that's on you. That ain't on me to bring any reference or anything. That's on you to do your homework. I bring this up, then you look it up to see if you dig it or not. Okay, yeah, this falls into it right now. This falls into it right now. I don't feel nothing about that, because the question you got to say is, what does that mean to me? But now saying that the Jewish faith people have run entertainment from day one is the truth. To say that Jewish faith people allowed the birth of a nation to be shown everywhere that helped Jim Crow was created by the Jewish faith people. Now, our people back then was one to boycott that shit and said that shit shouldn't be released to the public, but it was released to the public. And it told the lies of us when we were able to vote, when we truly had power after the Civil War. And what that movie also portrays is they went to war against us and we didn't realize it. Poor Europeans went to war against us and we didn't even realize it. And I have a book probably over there. It shows all this stuff. And that's where reparations should come from. Hey, Necessary Evil, thank you for joining me. That's where reparations should come from. It should come from then, the Jim Crow period, when poor Europeans went to war against melanated people with the backing of, again, Jewish faith people and others. Now, if Jewish faith people ran the music industry from the day one, Chess Records. Them is Jewish faith dudes. Remember that? Chess Records? And what? Paying the niggas in cars. Don't even give them. Jimi Hendrix had the worst contract in the history of contracts. He wasn't getting any money. He wasn't literally getting any money. So, I mean, they control banking. And look this up. You know, you can see the Jewish faith people have been put out of every country, like almost every country in Europe. At one point or the other, somebody put their foot to their ass and pushed them out. Yeah, Cadillac Records. Absolutely. I mean, Jewish faith people, this is historically, and I get this from Bomber. They would go to the king and want to shoot dice with the king for the whole thing. But they would cheat the king. The Jewish faith people would win and they would cheat the king. And then the king, you know, and then try to get the whole thing. And the king would turn on them. It's like, no, motherfucker, we caught you cheating. So then they would run to another country and say, well, I want to go to war against him, you know, not telling this new king that he had cheated him. And that's why they put in the boot to you. And as I talked about, look up Isabella. The Inquisition was about them. And when I was a boy, it was always Inquisition movies. Torturing them motherfuckers, putting them on the rack, stretching them and shit. Making them confess that they don't do that shit. Blood libel. Study blood libel. Story after story after story of blood libel, human sacrifice. And that's part of them. And I know they try to get away from saying it ain't, it is. And they are the fore pusher of making us look negative in the media. It's Jewish faith people. Now this ain't hate speech. This is telling facts. They control the media. They control the music. They control television and the movies. And this is what Hitler put out. This is what Hitler was against. He was against them controlling all those and the money. The people took all that back. Now, those are facts you can't argue with. They took away all the anti-propaganda. They show you the movies about them shutting these Jewish faith stores down. They was boycotting, the Jewish faith people in America was boycotting German goods. And so they show you one block. They show you one block of them boycotting stores and busting their windows. Wasn't that many of them in the country to start with. So they control, and they have not been our friend. And this, let me say this, and people miss this about the riots in the 60s. In the 60s, it was about burning the Jewish faith people out of the neighborhoods. The riot in Detroit and the riot in LA. What? That's who got burned out. They never came back. People forget that they had gas stations. They had the little corner stores, tailors, cooking. They was the businesses that never came back. For those of y'all don't remember what it was like, before full integration. You go to, Chicago, Jewtown. I love Jewtown, but that was them. That was them. And in Isabella, they tell you they never toiled the earth. They never were farmers. They've always, again, when the gold rush happened, Levi Strauss, making jeans, making tents. This is what they did. They let others do hard work and then they benefit from the hard work. That's just a fact. You have an artist that has all this creative ability and then they benefit off the artist's creative ability. I mean, why do you think all the names demean men? Little. Why? Why? Why should any man be called little or young? Here these niggas is damn near 50, still called little and young. That's demeaning. and his brother Zach and the other number of people, they've showed this over and over again that these numbers match up. This is where these names come from. They have to have these numbers match up. So they get these names from these numbers. Hey, Marcus. Hey, Mighty Timberwolf. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. So that part of it is he didn't tell any lies about that. Now, you know, I wear all this shit. I wear all the clothes. I don't personally know any Jewish faith people. It's no shade to individuals because it ain't the individuals, you know. In the song All About the Benjamin, Jadakiss line said, "You should do we do stack chips like Hebrews?" But on mainstream outlets, they edit out the Hebrews. There you go. That's what he's trying to say, is about money. Hey, Base the Jet Gaming, thank you for joining. A lot of rappers with the name Baby. Yep. Baby, little baby. Why? Again, it's the numerology. And then it's, see, what they don't understand is, as I've said this over and over again, when you sign a contract with you doing what you do, that's deeper than in blood. If you understand, you are looking at you moving, living. This is what the contract is. You are looking at a picture of you moving, standing there, and that's what you sign over. This is what it turned. It's not in blood anymore. They're showing you what you're going to be, and then you sign over that. And that puts you in. That puts you under. And then you go to hire one of these lawyers. They are probably buddies, you know. They're in these towns. How do you think these lawyers get money? How do you think they get any clout? They start dealing with other lawyers. Hey, PJ Allen. Yeah, they blocked that Hebrew part out. Yeah. There's others that have said worse. There's others that said worse about them. I mean, this is what America should wake up and see. And ask them, why have they always put us in their media so negatively? And we know that the media works with the CIA, because the operation we saw in California with bringing the music and bringing the drugs, you bring in the negative music and you bring in the drugs, and then you bring in the guns. And you play music, and what did Prince say? You spray chemicals and make all the people want to, you know, go crazy on each other. I mean, and what you did in the Midwest and the East, and you did it out West too, trying to push the fathers out, heavy liberal agendas of taking American Indians out of the South, the Southern farms, putting them in factories. And then when you chop off all those jobs, you got these mothers that, you know, getting the free money. You have as many children as you want, the government gonna pay for it. Just keep the dudes out the house. We're gonna give you the Section 8. We're gonna give you the food stamps, not the men. We're gonna force the men to sell drugs so we can put them in jail. Bill Clinton and the motherfucking president. They didn't even want you to know that they are in ownership. Actually, absolutely. They don't want you to, what they're good at is behind the scenes. Except names, you know, the names tell. And they like to be famous too. Don't think the Jewish faith people don't like to be famous. They like it too. Don Rickles. He was a Jewish faith dude, talk shit about everybody. Y'all remember him? Probably one of my favorites. He's up there because he talks shit about everybody. And he was a Jewish faith dude. You think, oh, and as I said before, look at the mafia movies. It's Jewish faith people. Bugsy Siegel. The one that said, we're bigger than U.S. Steel. The real dude. I mean, all these dudes was Jewish. All these gangsters. You think gangsters, you think of Italians, but if you follow who these really people were, there were so many Jewish faith gangsters. They went legit, but they were all deep in the, every war, they give money to both sides. I mean, don't you guys remember a couple years ago, I think it was 18 or 19, we're fighting in Syria, and you got the CIA-backed people fighting the Department of Defense people? Now, I've mentioned this before, but do you see how our taxpayer monies work? What sense does that make? Why would America back forces that fight each other? And that we as taxpayers are because we're arming both sides. But that just gives you a micro look at how the Rothschilds and these others have backed both sides from the very beginning. The Revolutionary War was not a victory for the people that lived here. It was just a sharing of England was going to get Canada, and the rest of the land was going to be the Protestants that mostly fought them, and the Masons. I got my mind made up with Tupac, the Dog Pound, Red Method Man says, sticking up Jew with Germany Lugers, and they block it out. Ooh, sticking up Jews with Germany Lugers. Wow. And that's the thing with the German people. The German people, it wasn't very many Jewish faith people in Germany. That's easy to look up. I think it was at the time of World War II. My numbers are off by a couple million, but it was like between something like 17 million and 15 million, or maybe even low as 10 million people in all of Germany. You can look these numbers up. But if you looked at the Jewish faith people in proper Germany, it was only like 100,000 people, 200,000 max. So when they show you them blocks, you ain't talking about a large area. And I've got into this before. I found a thing where it said all of the mainland Europe was only 300,000 Jewish faith people. Play both sides, you never lose. Absolutely. Revolutionary War was just the final taking of our lands and splitting it with the British. I mean, we still give taxes to the British. We give freaking money still to reparations to the Japs, to the German faith people, or Jewish faith people, excuse me. Let's shut this window, I got the heat on it. Yeah, so it's pretty dark here. It's getting dark pretty quick. Football game coming up tonight. Yeah. So no working out today. I think I'm gonna take my bench, see if I can fit my weightlifting bench in my car. Yeah. And work out. Hit a little treadmill work tonight. Do a little lifting since I'm not going to play pickleball. Kind of hurt my arm. So yeah. As I said, I have no hate against any one people. Not really. I go hard in if you study history and the way the Europeans have treated people. It's been horrible, and they don't want that taught anymore. They want to change history. They want to say that they want Thanksgiving to be the history. That's really what they want to teach. Well, we came over here and we helped each other. And, we said in 1830, we just, we Europeans need this. So you guys we're going to give you that. Then when they found gold in the Black Hills, had to push them out more. Then when they found oil, had to push it more. You get the book Under the Flower Moon. It's going to be, I guess DiCaprio was making a movie. And it shows you how sick these people were once money was shown. And how they'll change the laws. That's why you want to know we don't believe in government. Read that book and how they changed the laws, especially at the local level, to steal money from these people. These people couldn't even have their own money. They had to have lords over them to spend their own money. And at the same time, the Lord was able to dip into their money for a salary. This is how much money these people were making. The government agreed to this, I think at the Senate level. So if you look at our government, it ain't for us. It ain't never been for us. As much as I love that song from that album, I never caught that line. Good catch. Yeah. Sticking up Jews with German Lugers. Now, they'll probably want to call that hate speech, but it's not. All we're telling is, all we're sharing is a part of history. And I don't hate any one person. It's not that. It's never that. But let's look at history and let's look at solutions. And there's a lot of solutions. Again, buying land is great. Investing money is great. And that's kind of one way. If you look at the conservatives, that's what they say. They say make money. And, historically, when Reagan was president, it was a lot of illegal money to be made. It was like they didn't even care. I mean, look at all the how much. If you went in Miami in '79 and then you went there back in '82, '83, the drug money and the way they built up Miami is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The way Miami got built for that drug money, and you can't tell me that the people didn't know. And then you do. Then after all the people realized this is drug money, did they tear any of that shit down? That shit still stand in Miami today. Miami downtown on the harbor wouldn't be shit without drug money. And that's just a fact. Yeah, I hate when they block lyrics. I found out what he said so I could say it, but they didn't block the word. But they didn't block the word nigga. No, they never block nigga. They like that. Big Pontiac, I am digging the threads, my brother. Well, thank you, Belly. Thank you, Belly is full. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is it's kind of cold. This is a little coat. There's a little coat. It's funny, the pockets are lined. Like this pocket here is lined, but the coat itself ain't really lined. It's this shit all the way around. So it's just funny, but it's just little fall stuff. Got a box here, just rounded up a bunch of stuff. Taking this stuff down. How long I've been going that long? Wow, I'm tired. They sold a lot of dope. I lived in it. I lived it and loved it. Oh, yeah. I can go to Michigan and look at the house that I paid for that my sons grew up in, So it's like I didn't waste a lot of my money where, that pimp, Iceberg Slim and shit ain't got shit to show for. He was supposedly this great pimp, but he ain't got shit to show for it. So when I was young, I was smart enough to buy a house. And my children, it's going on 30 years. I bought that house 30 years ago. My children are men. But yet they lived in that house. They grew up in that house. Blake. So, that's what. Now, a lot of the jury changed over the years. The jury's changed. They didn't hang on to that kind of stuff because that's juries to be traded, moved, and updated. Looks like some LL Bean. Nah, this is vintage. You can get it at vintage something you get from Macy's. Yeah, some of this vintage something, whatever it's called. I got some pants and shit. But now it's an LL Bean. It's come from Macy's. Whatever Macy's calls it and shit. I'm moving. But yeah, guys, my and I got to get back on the sports stuff too a little more. I will. But again, as I said, we're still, this nigga ain't helped me move shit. I filled this dumpster and they just emptied it today, so I wasn't sure. So Thursday, I'm gonna refill this dumpster out here. But he's moving next week, but he ain't really helped me move nothing. But I'm throwing away a lot of this stuff. So this table is probably getting thrown away. So it's like next week we'll have 3 places. But next Wednesday, I think Tuesday, Wednesday, he can start living over there. I've got a couch that he can just walk over there. Like it's like he's moving literally across the street. So I live about 15 minutes away. So, but I come and feed my cats and come spend a little time with them. But yeah, but this is definitely the last time I'm ever broadcasting from this location for sure. So just wanted to come on here and, say a little bit something. Talk that talk, Uncle, about Maya. Rick Ross didn't call that Maya Yale for nothing. That's right. That's how Florida got built. I mean, my best friend, Keith James, grew up in Florida. So we started going to Florida in the 70s. One time that nigga brought back some shit. Like it looked like a body. Like we looked in the back of the car, it looked like a body. And we went in there, it was like, who the fuck is that? And it's like, nah. And we went in there and they had it was a weed shaped like a body. They had put it in legs. It's like a scarecrow, but they just set it in the back of the car. I was saying that good gold weed. They had drove back. But I remember looking back there, the shit was like like a scarecrow in the back seat, but it was all weed. So, but yeah, that's my guy. He still lives in Boona Raton. He sent me some pictures from Las Vegas. This nigga he said he turned 62, but I think he just turned 61. I'm pretty sure he just turned 61. But they was at a Raiders football game. He was wearing the sweet Bo Jackson at the Raiders game in Vegas. That's what his boys did for him. Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, I got all that. Matter of fact, I need a little do a little tuning at my new place. I took all my sounds, so I'm gonna do a little tuning. We saged it when I first got in there, but we could sage it some more. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, like where I live, and I'm gonna get a hat that says his brother's name. His name is Black Dog. Black Dog lived on the Minnesota River. Savage, before, as I said, this horse master took all that property. It was a cat named Black Dog. It's a Black Dog Road. Matter of fact, I used to have a cup that said Black Dog, so I'm gonna get a hat made. But I live where his people, where I live on. Again, there's this giant. You know, my brother would know it. He'd been in Minnesota. Matter of fact, they're gonna start making snow. As soon as it stays cold, they make snow. So next month, sometime November, December, they'll start making snow near where I live. But so when they came from the south walking, they walked through where I live to this other lake where actually my girl mother lived, and so it's not far. So this is the path to the holy area. So it's kind of a cool area, and you know those energies, those energies have gotten in touch with me, and they're cool. They're cool. So. They're cool. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. Just figured out like with the other cats, because I don't want four cats. No matter what, I just don't want four cats. She has two cats. I don't want four cats. Two is enough. So to add my two, just be too much. So they're gonna live here for about a month. They're gonna have a 2-bedroom apartment. Unless my friend who says she's getting put out, if she needs a place to stay, I'll let her and her family stay here. So that's a possibility. If she's about to be homeless, I'll just turn the place over to her. Because I saw her man over here looking, so I'm thinking they might be considering it if they're losing their place. So I might do that for her, but I haven't heard from her. Because she's at work crying and says she's about to be put out. So the timing might be good to help her. I talked about that the other day. So, so yeah. That's all I'm doing. Well, I'm going to cut it sometime after the football game. I'll come on again tonight and wrap. But thank you for coming. Gosh, 20 people, 19. Wow, that's more than I anticipated. So yeah, that's all I really have right now. So tune in about 11. Well, it's gonna be midnight, like I used to do. I'll be on like between 11 and midnight tonight. So that'd be Central Time, midnight. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your host. Yeah, they never edit out nigga. The first person that said nigga on TV was a black dude, Red Fox. Red Fox was, remember what he said? The first time nigga was used on TV was by a brother, and Red Fox said there's enough niggas in this courtroom to make a Tarzan movie. That was the first time nigga was used, and they allowed it. They allowed it. That was in the 70s. The shit's funny. Look that up with Fred Sanford when they at court. He told the judge, you said there's enough niggas in this courtroom to make a Tarzan movie. And I think he was pointing at a little bit of injustice too. Why so many niggas in the court? So, but we was the first to use it, And it's funny, interracial relationships. You go with a European girl, and the European girl, because like my daughter told her mother, it was like we had the little thing where the native girl was saying nigga to a little girl, and I remember her mother was trying to explain what everything was, the outroar was over, and she told my daughter, well, somebody said nigger, and my daughter's like, what is she talking about? My dad and my brother say this shit every day, all day. So she was like, that's no big deal. I hear it all the time. I'm not traumatized by it because I hear it all the time. So. But I used to check, I used to check on my ex-wife's family. I go, don't say that shit around me. And you can be how you want, but these hip European women, you shouldn't let them say that shit around you. So just out of respect. I figured it out though, but we'll talk about it later. And I know younger people look at it different. Why bother with it? There's no disrespect. She's around all my people. When all along, it's a type of disrespect that most people accept. So but that's on you. Well, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your funky host. Catch me later on a later event. Read My Soul. Oh, Read My Soul is on. Oh, I got to show you. Since you on, I'll show him again. Read My Soul. Get to his channel if you're a sneakerhead. But I picked these up at the outlet. They're the Aura Max Jordan Aura Max. My son said I shouldn't have bought these. My son's like, those fake, dad. Those people that want Jordan, they're comfortable. Well, I miss you too, brother. That's very kind. Yeah, PJ will be at work. But yeah, Read My Soul. Pick these up. So, they're comfortable. But they did omit the 23. Come on, Jordan people. How hard was it to put 23 here? The other ones you make like this all got that. So, but yeah. But if you're sneaker people, get with Read My Soul for sure. Him and the group from Wear Testers, it's a good thing. Look at, like, for you that are active, Like I'm getting a pair of Red Wing boots they make here. I've got a kick. These $200 boots, but I'm going to get the Don 4s, the Donovan Mitchell 4s. Wear Testers for hoop shoes, they didn't really give it a high rating, but for pickleball, I think they can't be beat. I've got the 3 pair of Dom 3s that I've rotated all summer, and for pickleball, they're outstanding. Now, walking around, I think I broke my foot walking around with them at work. So walking around, they don't give me enough in my forefoot. So I'm pretty sure I broke my foot at work wearing, because I'm just lazy, didn't wear my Bounce or didn't wear my Skechers. So I think that's what broke my foot, because they just don't give me enough in my forefoot. And I have 3 chip bones in my forefoot, which they call spurs. And what happens is when spurs get into that soft tissue, it flares. That's inflammation. So, well, guys, I'm going to go. Till we meet again. Say less. Ooh.